What's up everybody, Full Manga Alchemist here, and thank you again for coming to the time of the month where I do a monthly manga spotlight. And this month we are going to be looking at a series that I feel like just isn't getting talked about very much, but it's actually really good and there are a lot of really interesting questions there, and that is Heavenly Delusion. So without further ado, let's get into it. So about those interesting questions. So I'll pose one to you. Do you want to go outside of what's outside? That is where things get weird. So the story starts off, you seem like you're in some sort of orphanage, and then these kids are just walking around talking, you know, normal stuff. And then you realize that their teacher's a robot, and that there are a lot of robots around actually, and they're in what seems to be a big dome, and they can't go outside unless they're already outside. They can't go outside of what's outside. It's very, very weird like that. Basically they're in a big dome and they have walls all around them, and they are able to grow trees, and there's like plants and stuff, and then you know there's artificial sunlight and just robots walking around taking care of them, giving them school lessons and all kinds of stuff like just off, and you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be one of those stories. And then it starts to come out like, well, these kids are doing weird things. One of the girls, before you even see the first robot, she's like, man, I just feel like there's gonna be a surprise today, and there's a pop quiz, and she consistently does that. There's one boy whose agility is just insane. Can run, jump, he'll throw a ball and run under it and catch it. And when I say throw, not just loft it to you, just launch one and go and run and catch it. And there's this one girl that can climb really, really well. It poses so many questions. Is this genetically modifying things? What's going on here, and why are they not allowed outside? Then you flash cut to two people outside. One who looks very familiar to one of the kids, and it's not a time jump, and the world is destitute. It's awful. It is torn apart, and there are wild beasts roaming around. And it follows one of the main kids. His name is Maru. Maru is walking around, and he seems to be very, very agile as well, also very strong. And he has what he refers to as his big sis, and that's the only thing, so he just calls her sis. I can't remember even if her name is mentioned. And she's like his bodyguard with this really cool rechargeable laser pistol, like that runs off batteries. And just more and more of these questions are getting compiled. Do I think that it's going to be difficult to answer all of them? No, I feel like a lot of these questions are going to be just wafted very easily with small one-page explanations, so I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried a little bit about maybe the mangaka losing their sight on it later on down the line. I hope that doesn't turn out to be the case. That would very much suck. So, but you get to stay with the two people outside the wall, Maru and Sis, and they just travel, and they're trying to find what is called heaven. Heaven seems to be this place where no monsters can get, and there's food, and there's comfort and hot water, and you're not really going to struggle. And that is their goal is she and him are trying to find heaven. And as far as the big, plot points in the manga, of course, you're gonna have your battles, and you're gonna have your interesting questions, like I said, and this manga seems to be very forward. It drops like a big bomb on you, and it's not really like a spoiler. It's just different. Like, you don't really see it, or you're not gonna hear it. The sis, he's like, well, sis, I love you, and she's like, I can't do that. I'm actually a boy. But there are panels of her being nude in this manga, so it's like he brings that up, and she's like, in my mind. So it's a very forward manga. So I'd like to see where they go with that. Like, maybe there's a body switching kind of thing that goes on with this manga. I don't know, but it's kind of very, very wild. As far as the art goes, it is a very, very clean and simple manga. Be it the character models are kind of odd. A lot of their faces have the curvature to them, almost egg-like. It's weird. Imagine most of the female characters looking like Froppy from My Hero Academia. They all have that really like bouncy looking face, like very bubbly looking face, and that's most of the female characters, at least in the school portion. A lot of the eyes seem to be the same, and that's not a knock. You can tell the characters apart pretty easily. It's just very different, way different than anything I've read recently. I can't even really compare anything else other than the one character design of Froppy. But going on to the landscapes and stuff, they're very, very detailed. They're all I would say above average. I think they're all really nice looking, detailed backgrounds and landscapes, especially using the desolate landscape to the advantage. You're seeing just buildings crashed and cars grown up and over, and it just super detailed, and I really enjoy that. I don't know if the face, how this manga writes their face or draws their face, I don't know if that's gonna get old. I hope not. I don't think it will, but I don't know if that'll get kind of drug out, just that same ovally type of facial structure over time, and I really hope it doesn't. But overall, I think the art's really, really good. I think it's simple, I think it's clean, and I think clean is the biggest thing you need. You don't need things getting muddled. The combat, the action is super easy to follow. As far as how the panels are laid out, and it's so easy to follow. You're not lost at any given moment with what happened. And some of the series that I've read, that is very, very much appreciated. As far as my final thoughts go, I recommend it. I think it's going to be very interesting if it keeps up this weird fantasy kind of thing it's got going. I just hope that some of the answers come through pretty quickly. I want to know, why that the world blew up, like what's wrong with the world. I want to know why these kids are weird. Like why can they basically, some of them can have agility insanely crazy, and one girl can climb like she's a freaking squirrel, and this other girl can basically is clairvoyant almost. I want to know some of those answers, and I get some of that's going to take a while, but I think some of them can come pretty quickly. If you're into the science fiction genre, I'd say give this a shot. I think it has loads of potential and shows good promise. But if you're not really into science fiction, I'd say skip on this one. Go for something else if you're trying to get into science fiction. I don't think this is the one. I think this has ideas and things in it that are just really far out there, that are gonna really push someone who might not normally read science fiction away. They just be like, oh, that's dumb. So if you like science fiction, pick it up. I enjoyed the read. I thought it was a good read. It is a quick read. If you're not so much into science fiction, I'd say give it a pass. But overall, I do recommend it. And that's all I got for this monthly manga spotlight. And I really appreciate everyone stopping by and watching. If you have read this manga, tell me in the comments, what do you think about it? And if you enjoyed this kind of content like this, like and think about subscribing. If you want to know my upload schedule and just, or want to direct message me, you can follow me at Twitter at Manga Alchemist. Yeah, at Manga Alchemist, and I will catch you guys in the next one. But most importantly, read manga and be good to each other. See you guys.